This is a follow-up video for the DIYBMS version 4. I'll walk you through the relay control board and the rules you can now use to configure your charging and battery usage. First, if we look at the control and relay board, on the controller I'm using a PCF port expander chip to provide 4 inputs and 4 outputs to the controller. The inputs are simply terminated on the board using JST connectors. These are labelled as J1 to J4. The outputs are then used to drive a 4 relay module board. I originally planned to make my own relay board, however these boards already exist and are often used for various Arduino projects. I couldn't design and build this type of board for the money that you can buy them up for, so they're about £5 in the UK and easily available from Amazon. So instead of building my own, I've given you the flexibility to purchase a separate board and hook it up to the controller. The relay boards have 4 separate relays with both normally open and closed terminals, and they're also opto-isolated. It should be noted, however, that the relays are not intended to carry the current for battery charging or powering large loads unless it's a very small current level. These relays are there purely to drive other control circuits such as contactors or electric type fuses. You could use them also to drive light loads like fans, lights, or even a siren. There are many clones of the relay board all over the internet, so if you're buying one, make sure you get one with good quality relays. And also note that the relays are only rated up to 28 volts DC and 10 amp current. I originally designed the control PCB to be the same width as the relay board, with the idea that they could fit in a box together. The observant of you will notice that I didn't actually measure it properly. However, the version on GitHub is correctly sized and is 10mm narrower than this one. Okay, this is the DIYBMS web interface, and if we click on the settings tab, we can look at the rules that you can apply to the relays. So this grid here shows you how you can configure the relays. So the rules work in sort of reverse order. So the one at the bottom has got the lowest priority, and then the one at the top has got the highest. If a rule is highlighted in this sort of pink colour, it's currently active, and you can have multiple rules active at the same time, but the highest priority one would win. The one at the bottom, the relay default, you can't change the 0 number, by the way, that's just there for spacing. This is how the relays look when you first switch on the board. So at the minute they're all off. If you wanted the first one to be a charger, for instance, or the second one an inverter, third one could be a fan, fourth one could be a siren or some sort of other alarm type flashing light thing. So what you do to actually configure these is you would obviously wire up the relay to whatever you need it to be connected to. The 2 rules here, minutes after 1 and minutes after 2, allow you to have a time-based rule. So these are the number of minutes after midnight. So it's got up here in the example 495, which is actually 8 hours 15, so 8:15 AM. And it also tells you here how many minutes it is past midnight now. So it's currently 18:26 at the moment, so 26 minutes past 6, and that's what that gives you. So in this rule here, will become active after that time, and then this rule will become active after 11:25 minutes. At some point we'll fix this and we'll make it with some sort of date and time picker, but for now that's how it works. So what this does is once this rule's active, it will switch the relay on, and then when it gets to that time, it will then switch it off. As simple as that. These are the rules here with the X's in, means it doesn't apply to this particular relay. So the other time that this will actually go off is if there's a comms error, or if cell voltage goes over a particular level as well. Rule 5 is an under voltage rule. So if the whole cell pack drops below this value, it will trigger whatever you've set in here. So this could be to disconnect a load or to switch off an inverter or something like that. Pack over voltage, again, you'd probably use to connect to a charger. So if the whole pack goes over this limit, it will activate these rules. If external temperature has been reached on one of the cells or the pack, again it will fire this. So you could have this, say if a cell went over 30 degrees, to actually switch on a fan to start cooling. Or you may want it just to switch off the inverter or switch off the charger. The next rule, rule 2, is the individual voltage. So if you've got a particular pack that goes high voltage, again you can get this to actually switch off chargers or inverters, or do something to alert you. And finally, the Hoist priority rule will switch off all the relays if a communications failure happens. So if one of the modules stops working, or the cable's cut or breaks, you can use this to set a particular sort of situation up. So in this scenario, it actually switches off all the relays, but you might want to switch off 3 of them, but switch on a flashing light or an alarm or something like that to tell you. When you've configured what you need to do, you can click the Save Rules button, and you'll get the green bar at the top saying it was saved successfully. And that's all you need to do for the rules. Thanks for watching the video. As usual, click subscribe, and I'll make some more videos with regards to DIYBMS version 4. Next time we'll have a look at how to actually build the modules and order the component parts, and what you need and where to order them from. See you soon.